A quick content note here before we begin this episode of What Am I Rolling? This episode's one-shot, My Late Father's Correspondence, is an epistolary role-playing game of bittersweet family drama. Content warnings include grief, patriarchy, illness, colonialism, war, and death. So, if you're not in the right headspace just now, please feel free to stop listening and come back if or when you're ready. Thanks again, and stay safe, my friends. Hello, and welcome to What Am I Rolling? A twice-monthly RPG one-shot podcast, hosted by me, Fiona. This week, I am playing My Late Father's Correspondence, a read and reply game by Hayley Gordon and published by Story Brewers Roleplaying. My Late Father's Correspondence is an epistolary role-playing game of bittersweet family drama. The player takes on the role of the younger child of the deceased Colonel Thomas Lockley, answering letters that he can no longer reply to, and learning about the father who played a difficult role in their life. The game is simple. The player will open, read, and reply to letters they receive at Eadly Hall. However, family, duty, and grief are not simple at all, and the player will make hard decisions about the future to come. You can find out more information about My Late Father's Correspondence and grab your own copy on the Story Brewers Roleplaying website. I'll add a link to it on the What Am I Rolling website and in this episode's show notes. So here's how My Late Father's Correspondence works. This game takes place over 9 days spread across 3 months. On each day, the player will receive a number of letters that bring unfolding news and events. They must read all the letters for each day and then answer them in the order they think best. The player can reply to the comments and questions in each letter, but they can also discuss other thoughts and feelings and include details of their own imagined everyday life. Once they've finished writing, they will then give the letters to an imaginary footman to put into the post. And when they are ready, perhaps after a well-deserved break, the player can turn to the next day of play. And that's it. That's all you need to know to play My Late Father's Correspondence. One last thing before we begin. Naturally, there are times in this one-shot where the players, and myself, mostly myself for this one, get the rules wrong or forget something plot-wise. Whilst we always endeavour to stick to the rules wherever possible, at the end of the day, we all make mistakes. And what matters most is that everyone enjoys themselves. So, with all that out of the way, let's play My Late Father's Correspondence. November 29th, 1832. Eadly Hall, Millcott, Hampshire, England. Your name is Agatha Lockley. You are the youngest child of the retired Colonel Thomas Lockley. You are yet unmarried and live in your childhood and ancestral home of Eadly Hall. Your father passed away in that very home 3 weeks ago. You do not stand to inherit it. Your father's funeral has come and gone. Now you are the only one in residence at Eadly Hall. That is all you need to know for now. The rest is for you to discover and imagine. Okay. Day 1, November 29th, 1832. I have not been into father's study since he passed. His reading glasses are still perched on the edge of a small mahogany desk, as if he had just taken them off to rub the bridge of his nose before asking me to hand him the next of his letters. Though his study has not become mine, his letters have. I had best see what my aunt has written to me. And then it says, one letter sits upon a desk, postmarks read TP Piccadilly and paid 8. It's addressed to me, Agatha, Eadly Hall, Millcote, Hampshire. I must say, I love the alt text for this. The first letter, it says, written on morning stationery in a black border and black ink. The handwriting is relatively neat and orderly in a familiar flourish. London, November 28th, 1832. My darling Aggie, I hope the days after the funeral weren't too trying. It is one thing to face the endless stream of condolences about your father's death when you have your dearest aunt by your side, but it's quite another thing to be left in that big, great house all by yourself. I write with tragic news. I am to be delayed in London. With your older brother Nicholas so long away, and thus absconded from all duties and responsibilities, executing your father's estate is far more of a mess than I could have imagined. I have, of course, written to his last address, and the one before that, as no doubt have you. I am not, however, too hopeful he will suddenly appear in London in readiness for the responsibilities of inheritance. Nevertheless, I am duty-bound to do all I can to find him before anything else can be resolved, so I am doing what I must. In the meantime, you shall be seen to the running of the estate and handling the barrages of many well-wishers. These are both tasks I know you are most capable of, but are tiresome nonetheless. Perhaps most tedious of all, it is imperative you open and reply to all the various correspondences that will now come flooding in. Those for yourself, and most especially those addressed to your father. Your butler, Mr. Alder, will bring the letters to you each morning. Take them and let them sit on your desk for just a moment. Take a breath, and then when you're ready, read and reply to each. It is crucial that you reply to all correspondences on the day of its arrival, as at this important time, matters are best taken care of swiftly. You hardly need me to tell you this, but be considerate in your response, as there are delicate matters afoot. My dear, you know people will say all kinds of things in their letters, of you and your father both. You'll do well to remember that this is merely their opinion, and to take it with a grain of salt. It is all too common people misremember, or their prejudices come to the forefront. Except for me, of course. I am your favourite aunt, and therefore right about everything. I know you and your father did not always see eye to eye. He could be a difficult man in his own way. But we all have our moods, and he loved you through each and every one of them that overtook him. At any rate, some of his acquaintances shall be vital to your place in society now that he is gone. Especially as you are 23 and yet unmarried, you may find yourself calling upon them for favours in the future. Not that now is a time to think of such things. Heavens, you are in mourning. Look after yourself, my dearest. Keep well, and I shall be back as soon as I can, heaven willing, with your brother in tow, but heaven may indeed not will it. Write to me now, even if briefly, and do assure me that you are well. Your loving aunt, Gertrude Ollington. Wow. Oh, what a good letter to start on. I will say, I'm not sure if I care for this Nicholas character, who clearly is related to me. Stupid older brothers. Interesting how they've used this letter as a way to get you settled into the game. Like, take a breath, and when you're ready to reply, like, start to it and reply to everything. So it sounds like I'm going to get quite a few letters depending on the days, which will be interesting to see. But it's almost like a practice day. So that sounds good. And she clearly means well. So, all right, I better start writing. Eadly Hall, Millcote, Hampshire, November 29th, 1832. My dearest aunt, thank you for your letter and your words of kindness. I am doing well, despite your absence, and hope that London is treating you well, though I hear such a place can also be trying at times. I appreciate you go through all this trouble in the hope of sorting out father's affairs in a much more manageable state. I fear it might take some weeks, if not months, to finalise the paperwork, especially with Nicholas's absence. I'm sure he will indeed turn up at the most unexpected time and place, as he always does. You know what he is like. Though I cannot predict his reaction to the news, I'm sure Nicholas will do the right thing. We always got on growing up, but never on the same page. I admit the thought of corresponding with a number of father's associates and colleagues does fill me with some angst. Naturally, my handwriting and comprehension of the English language is at a good level, but one hopes that my character will not be judged on my circumstances, but on the literal characters that I put down to paper. As a young woman, unmarried, as you said, I feel there may be certain judgments pre-made when writing to me, maybe certain attitudes predisposed to think less of me or determined to make the most of the situation to my disadvantage. But I will bear your words in my heart, that individuals do not mean to be unkind at a first glance. Often the sub of the text is needed to make the view of the writer be fully revealed. My father was a difficult man. Yes, your words about him are true. He did love me as much as he could when he was able. I hope he is at peace now and knows that Eadly Hall and our legacy will continue in some form. I hear London has some of the finest teas. Twinings on the Strand might be worth your patronage if you have a moment's rest between the paperwork and the filing. Love always and truly, Aggie. I had to look up, but yes, Twinings was founded in 1706 on the Strand in London. So I was like, oh, perfect, I'll add that in. I hope that kind of makes some sort of sense, a starting letter. I think it will work quite well. And yeah, we'll see where we go through from here. Day 2, November 31st, 1832. The circulars, military journals, and nature periodicals are still piling up. I must see to that before the desk is lost entirely. Aunt has paid the mail charge again, which is kind of her, though it really ought to be left for Eadly. And then the alt text says, 2 letters sit upon the desk. Underneath them is a pile of old circulars and periodicals. The first letter, the postmarks read, paid at Glasgow, and add, I assume, a shilling. It is addressed to Nicholas and Agatha Lockley, Eadly Hall, Millcote, Hampshire. The second letter, the postmarks read TB Piccadilly and paid for 8 times 2, so probably 8 pennies, is addressed to Agatha Lockley, Eadly Hall, Millcote, Hampshire. The first letter, written on cream watermark stationery in black ink. The handwriting is rather large and self-assured. Okay. Glasgow, November 27th, 1832. My dear Sir and Madam, I wager you do not remember me, though I certainly remember you both. The last time we met, Nicholas was a tiny boy of 6, quite obsessed with painting everything, and Miss Agatha, you were a plump, bright thing of the age of 3, and very charming, I assure you. I write with a heavy heart to hear news of your father's passing. I count myself among your father's oldest friends from his time in the service. I knew him before he was even made a cornet, and I consider myself to have the privilege of knowing him inside and out. You may not know this, but when we first met, your father had joined my unit of dragoons as a gentleman volunteer, in quotation marks, sir. That is what they called them back then. Men from good families too poor to buy their first commission, waiting to be given one by merit or connections. Even then, he had a way of devoting himself to those around him that was admirable. You have no doubt heard the story of how he received his first commission, and the unfortunate French captain who mistook him for a member of his own side after the cavalry's uniform changed. The story of how he received his promotion to captain was less glamorous. He simply worked hard until his turn arrived, but in many ways it was more characteristic of him. Despite what others say, I do not think your father loved war in the way everyone seemed to suppose. He certainly drew satisfaction from a well-executed manoeuvre, and he was renowned as a very skillful leader. But I do not think he loved it. Rather, I believe he felt at home there, in the small world of his regiment, where he was in a way a sort of father to the boys around him. He said to me once, "They're good lads," and the way he said it betrayed a fondness more keen than a simple assessment of one's troops. Every loss at the Battle of Morales was hard for him, I know.
and he certainly inflicted far more back at the French. But I have gone on too long for a letter of condolences. I hope you both are faring as well as expected and are keeping on as your father would have wanted. I remember his face on the day Nicholas was born. He looked like a man struck by the discovery of a duty more grand than any he thought possible. He was a good, dear friend, and if I might assist his lovely children, it would be my honour. I remain faithfully yours, Major General John Weatherton, 2nd Dragoon Guards. It's kind of an interesting letter, isn't it? Like, obviously, he says more about my father and more about Nicholas, and yet I'm the one that's responding to him. And me and my father did not always get on. That's what I got from the last letter. Very charming, I assure you. He's just being nice, old man here. So, gentleman volunteer dragoons. Less glamorous. Yeah, I'm just trying to like make sure I get all this straight before I reply back. Maybe I could invite him to come to the hall. Maybe that would be nice. He can then like waft on. It would be good because then he could just be here. He doesn't, like he seems very harmless, like an old boy essentially. So we'll do that. I think we'll just do a quick notice and see what he says. How does one even address a Major General? I don't know. Just says dear, probably. Eadly Hall, Millcott, Hampshire, November 31st, 1832. Dear Major General Weatherton, thank you for your letter and your kind words about my father. Your fondness for him and your time together back in the service was very striking and touching. I appreciate such sentiments in such sad times. My father was indeed a man who appreciated hard work and led by example. He always admired such high qualities in other people and surrounded himself with fellows who prioritized it. It is no surprise to me that he would strive to ensure that it was a part of every aspect of his life. To build a strong home and a family outside one's own blood is a rare and precious thing. I can only imagine how it would be to lose such strong connections during the war. Such violent conflict can have far-reaching consequences for a person, far more so than we realise, like watching a stone being dropped into a pool and seeing the waves ripple out of the point of connection. Whilst I do not pretend to know much of warfare, I know that battle did change him irrevocably. He never did speak about it to me. As a close friend of my father's, you are always more than welcome to come by and visit Eadly Hall should you ever be passing. Though I appreciate that Glasgow is quite the distance away, so perhaps a more formal visit is needed than just simply dropping by. Warmest regards, Miss Agatha Lockley. So the second letter, it says for the alt text, written on mourning stationery with a black border in black ink. The handwriting is your aunt's. Oh, okay, so she's back. Okay. London, November 30th, 1832. My dearest Aggie, you are ever reliable, my darling, but please do take care of yourself as well as the estate. You will never guess who I've run into here in London. Young Mr. Radcliffe Hughes, the ward of your father's friend. You would not have seen him since he left to study in Oxford. Do you remember he used to visit every summer when you and Nicholas were younger? He never got on well with Nicholas, but you two were practically inseparable. We all recall the time you put on that little play together. What was it called? Mr. Hughes is returning to Hampshire and offered to call on you and keep you company. I think it proper, since he is an old family friend, and of course Mr. Adler will be there. Should I tell him to come, or would you like me to ask him to write first? As well as that, there is the need to handle some of your father's effects from his rented London residence. In Nicholas's absence, I think you are best placed to decide what to do with each. The lawyer says we can have each effect sent to Eadly Hall, stored here in London, donated to charity, or destroyed as appropriate. Let me know your wishes as regard to each. Your loving aunt, Gertrude Orlington. And then enclosed within your aunt's letter is a further letter from the estate's solicitors, Blackstone and Associates. It is printed on their business letterhead. It is stamped James F. Stewart, solicitor, at the top. Your aunt has annotated some of the listed items. Okay, well, we'll have a quick read of this and then we'll answer the letter. So it says again, London, November 29th, 1832. Dear Sir or Madam, please advise the disposal of the following effects found at the London residence of Thomas Lockley. We have jewellery, silver cravat pin with pearl inlaid, gold-plated cravat pin, cufflinks with painted peacocks, cufflinks with painted gardenias, shirt studs, a woman's ring inlaid with amethyst and freshwater pearl engraved in the interior, the initials TLOL. A necklace of cut steel and paste gems in a case labelled Henel with a purple ribbon around it. Then we have a portrait, half-length, 44 by 34 inches, a woman in her early 20s with dark hair, green eyes holding a small baby boy to her chest. A plaque reads, Olivia Lockley, as commissioned by Thomas Lockley and painted by Augustus Glenford, 1806. My aunt's written, your mother looks so happy here. I hope we will hang it somewhere nice. Oh. Clothes, we have shirts, cravats, coats, vests, pants, shoes, and 2 top hats. My aunt has written, your father's taste was a little out of date, although in my view, still quite acceptable for a man of his age and position. And then we have papers, a small number of letters to and from various doctors in London, many loose pages, in brackets, perhaps intended as a journal, accounts of various battles, accounts of various bird descriptions and locations where said birds were seen, their colouring, a bill for 1 necklace from Henel and Co. dated last month. Oh, he bought that last month. Why? Port is another thing that's here. Many ordinary bottles such as could be purchased at any store, free with faded labels that are likely of value. Cockburn, 1812. Sandeman, 1806. Yeatman, 1792. Ooh, quite old, that one. Figurines, painted cavalry figures. My aunt's written here, your father's regiment, the 18th Royal Hussars. He painted meticulously. At the bottom of the basis, I found the name of some of his military friends. One reads Lieutenant Colonel George Hughes, one of himself. It's quite a good likeness. Oh. Medals. Waterloo Medal, 1815. Long Service Medal, badge of the 18th Hussars as well. My aunt's written, the most impressive, kept in London for events, no doubt. The rest are in your father's room at Eadly. He never did like to talk to me about the stories behind them. And then we've got a locket, silver, half a palm in length, attached to a chain. Inside is a picture of a woman in her 40s, brown hair, her eyes staring straight up at the viewer. Oh, signed with the painter's name and year, George Cooper, 1828. Aunt writes, do you know who this is? I'm afraid I have no idea. Oh. And then we have bird statues, many too difficult to transport, 3 most notable, peacock, carved wood, half-size likeness, ornately painted, oh wow. Honey buzzard, stone, 2 foot in height and 4 foot in wingspan, unpainted. And then blue throat, curved wood, 3 inches in height, painted in exacting detail. We have the honour to be most obedient servants, James F. Stewart, Blackstone and Associates. How fun! Ooh, okay. Well, I was thinking to give away quite a lot of this to charity, but that necklace of cut steel and paste gems, who's that for? And who's the person in the locket? Because that, presumably my mother passed away a long time ago. Interesting. Okay, let's talk about it. I think I'll give away quite a bit of the jewellery. Keep the portrait of my mother. I think that's fair. Give away the clothes. Keep the papers. Like, we should get all the papers there. I think, yeah, the only thing I want to take from the jewellery is probably the ring, because that's clearly my mother and father's ring. I'll keep that. That's quite nice. I do like the cufflinks with the painted peacocks on. That sounds excellent. But we'll keep the necklace, the cut steel and paste gems. Keep the papers. Port. We'll sell the port. Figurines. I mean, Lieutenant Colonel George Hughes, that's not the person who's written to me. I'd sell that. I don't think that's important. Medals, nobody likes to talk to them. I think I'd sell those as well. Or at least maybe pass them on to a store here in London. I don't want to store them in London. That seems silly. Locket, keep the locket, because I want to find out who that is. The bird statue's hilarious. Let's donate those. We don't need those. Okay, so I'll write to my aunts first, and then I'll write to these people. Eadly Hall, Millcote, Habershire, November 31st, 1832. My dearest aunt, what a small world it is for you and Mr. Hughes to meet at such a time. I hope he's doing well in his studies. It is hard when one has already peaked playing Mrs. Greta's poodle, or the non-speaking Fay in our summer production of Tales Strange Yet True. Indeed, I would absolutely accept his offer should he have the time. Ask him to write to me when he has a chance, and I will endeavour to respond. I will respond to the solicitors now. I know not who the woman in the locket is. I wonder if she is a more recent acquaintance of my father, so much so that he may have purchased a necklace for her. Leave it with me. No doubt we can figure it out. I always appreciated a good mystery. Take care of yourself and make sure to visit Twinings. Perhaps bring me some Earl or Empress Grey when you return. I have a feeling I might need the strength of such leaves when replying to all these letters. Love always and truly, Aggie. Eadly Hall, Millcote, Habershire, November 31st, 1832. Dear Mr. Stewart, thank you for your detailed and efficient letter regarding the disposal of my father's belongings at his London address. As requested, here are my responses in order. Please send the cufflinks with the painted peacocks, the engraved ring, and the necklace to Eadly Hall. The rest may be donated to charitable causes. As to the portrait, send to Eadly Hall, wrapped in protective paper if possible to prevent damage along the journey. Clothes all to be donated to charitable causes. Papers all to be sent to Eadly Hall. The port, well, feel free to take any to your liking and sell the rest. Consider it an additional payment for your speed and grace in your service to my family. The figurines all to be donated again. The medals sent to Eadly Hall. I plan to return them to my father's old regiment and fellow associates there so they may remember him. The locket sent to Eadly Hall. And finally, the bird statues. Destroy those which are considered difficult to transport. Donate the peacock and honey buzzard and send the blue throat to Eadly Hall. Many thanks in advance for your hard work, and please do not hesitate to contact me if there are any queries or if additional payment is required for postage of my father's belongings. Regards, Miss A. Lockley. Boom. Done. Easy enough. God, I like making decisions like this. This is quite easy. No doubt I'll reveal something later that I've given away something important. I wonder if that top hat. I should have kept a top hat or two, perhaps. I think I've got the important items, right? Jewellery that's in... It feels like a mystery game, right? I've got my portrait. I've got a locket. I don't need the medals. The bird statues, I think, is a big red herring, unless bloody Nicholas is going to come and be like, where's my peacock statue? Where's my honey buzzard statue? You know, all that sort of thing. But yes, day 2 officially done. Day 3, December 5th, 1832. No matter how much this room is aired, it continues to smell of paint and old tobacco. Opening father's mail still leaves me with a trace of unease, like a child who has snuck their hand into cook's pastries before they are served. In the alt text says, 2 letters sit upon the desk. The first letter has postmarks that read Roma, ADE 1, 1832, and 2 charge marks of 1/10th and 8th. It is addressed to Colonel Thomas Lockley, Eadly Hall, Millcote, Habershire. And then the second one has postmarks that read TP Piccadilly and paid 8th. That's probably my aunt again. Is addressed to me, Agatha Lockley, Eadly Hall, Millcote, Habershire. The first letter is written in black ink on cream paper. The handwriting is a rather irregular scrawl, perhaps a touch careworn. Oh. Rome, November 20th, 1832. Oh, that's a couple of days ago. Oh, I guess it would have taken time to get here. My dear sir, here are his latest slew of expenses. Do you wish me to arrange payment as usual? For such a prudent man, you have truly raised an extravagant son. Oh, bollocks, it's Nicholas. Oh, I don't know why you continue paying for him. Let the boy fend for himself for a month or two, and he'll certainly understand the meaning of responsibility. I've been telling you for years that you are too soft on him, and this is where he's ended up. Can you imagine what he will be like as the master of Eadly Hall? Oh, I've no concept what your girl is up to, but I hope it's a bit more appropriate. You may complain she's too sensitive, but which would you prefer? If you're worried about your health, then come here. The continental life and colour will do you good, and you can wrangle your son yourself. You know how much Olivia loved it here, and in Florence also, before the war took its hold at least. You two always looked so inescapably English no matter how hard you tried. Although, if you ask me, it is retirement that has been the real trouble. You were never happier than when you had something to do. Something real to do, not just the business of a gentleman nodding off whilst his steward manages his estate. At any rate, I've given you my counsel, and I'm sure you will ignore it as usual. Your friend, Matthew Summers. Oh no. Inside the letter are bills for expenses from the last 3 months from Florence. Hotels, dinners, galleries and shows, paint and canvas, clothes, and the occasional house of ill repute. These have been grouped and listed out by Matthew by date. Around 1 month ago, an expense began for the rent of a long-term residence WAIR Federakutsi. At the top, Matthew has written, look at all this. Oh, totals £120 for just 3 months. Ooh. Well, I guess I know where Nicholas is. What does he mean? Payment as usual. Oh my god. Well, okay. He's in Florence. I think my gut is to pay the last couple of expenses, but then to have it cut off and like he has to come home. He can't just keep living like that. I think we can. If we've got the money to pay for it, then we should. Oh, I genuinely feeling oof about that. I mean, he doesn't know. He didn't know. And what was this, a week before my father passed as well? Dear, oh dear. Okay. Eadly Hall, Millcott, Habershire, December 5th, 1832. Dear Mr. Summers, thank you for your letter and the update concerning the welfare and whereabouts of my brother, Nicholas. Unfortunately, I must be the bearer of bad tidings to you, as it seems like you were for my father in your latest writings regarding financials. My father, Colonel Thomas Lockley, passed away a few weeks ago, and I am currently in the process of managing his affairs and estate here in Habersham in the interim. I appreciate such news may not come as a shock to you, as he shared his concerns over his failing health. Still, I suspect the sting of such an announcement in such a way must still hurt. For the time being, I would appreciate your help and guidance in this delicate matter, as Nicholas must now return home, and we do not have a direct contact to him here at Eadly Hall. Could you enlighten me as to what your normal arrangements were for paying his expenses? For the time being, I think it's best for us to pay the current debt, but send a short note to his current address saying he must return to England at once due to a family emergency. In brackets, keep it discreet. If he fails to do so, we shall pause his allowance payment going forward. Whilst this seems a touch dramatic, I must finish going through the affairs of our late father's estate and account for everything, with or without my brother's help. Your words about my father and mother did bring a smile to my lips. I could just picture the two of them now, in the warm sunny days of Italy, on a beach or by a vineyard. Once again, Thank you for helping my father in this particular matter and giving him counsel. I should like to take it up from you going forward. Regards, Miss A. Lockley. I think that seems fine. I think there's not a issue necessarily with that. I think it's, been okay. I think that's as diplomatic and at least political as I can be. My bloody brother's been in Italy this whole bloody time and squandering his inheritance away and leaving me to deal with all the pieces. Bastard, I don't like him. I knew this. Okay, the second letter, written on mourning stationery with a black border in black ink. The handwriting is your aunt's. Yep, thought so. London, December 2nd, 1832. My dearest Aggie, it has been done as you described. Those of your father's effects you wished sent to Eadly you will find arrived with this letter. As I was looking through his papers, I found this letter from Nicholas. Oh. I've enclosed it in case it is helpful in tracking him down. However, it seems to be one of his old return addresses. As for me, I am counting down the days till I can return to Habishire. As executor of your father's will, I am sadly stuck here in London until all reasonable attempts have been made to find your brother. At that point, I am told we can seek an order from the court to have your father's will resolved as if your brother himself was dead. Quite shocking. I hope it doesn't come to that, in brackets. In the meantime, darling, it brings me comfort to know you shall have company from Captain Rajiv Hughes, as I have now heard he is. Oh. He told me he intends to be in Habishire within the next 2 weeks. He's been away rather a long time. Perhaps you can show him what's changed. In brackets, if anything's changed, you know Habishire. Colonel Hughes has passed, I'm sad to say, as he has no natural children. Captain Hughes inherited his Habishire estate. Yet he told me he hasn't been there since he was 12. It will be strange for him, I am sure. Yours affectionately, Gertrude Arlington. Oh. And then it says, inside is a scrap from a letter from Nicholas, torn off and folded over. On one side is the return address in Florence. A fragment on the reverse side reads, we both ought to do what we want, Father. That's how happiness is made, whatever you might say. We'll do it anyway, so there's no sense in being burdened with guilt. Oh no, is he getting married? That's what it feels like, right? We'll do it anyway, so there's no sense of being burdened with guilt. So I think he's getting married. Oh, he's marrying someone. That's what it feels like. Well, at least I'm going to have someone to come and visit me. Seems quite nice, really. Eadly Hall, Millcott, Habishire, December 5th, 1832. My dearest aunt, many thanks for your help in securing the items and sending them to me here at Eadly. I've had a letter from one Mr. Matthew Summers in Rome, Italy, a friend of my father's and mother's, I believe. In brackets, do you know of him? Apparently, he has at least some connection or knows some whereabouts of where Nicholas may be now. He started renting a residence via Federucci Tocci. A place, a person, I'm not sure. Does any of this sound familiar to you? Apparently, my father has been paying Nicholas's expenses in Florence for quite some time now, and Mr. Summers was inquiring over how the latest bill was to be settled. He also had some stern advice for dealing with such an extravagant son, which I don't think my father would have appreciated. And I, likewise, as I was referred to as too sensitive for my father's liking in Mr. Summers' letter. For now, I've instructed Mr. Summers to pay the latest debt so all accounts can be settled, then to try to contact Nicholas to return home or have his allowance paused indefinitely. We will see if anything comes of it. Perhaps getting such a court order might be easier if Nicholas refuses to return. It sounds like he might have found happiness out in Florence, judging by his letter, so a fresh start for all of us might be needed. I am indeed looking forward to welcoming Captain Hughes when he is back in Habishire. I'm sorry to hear the passing of Colonel Hughes, though. It sounds like Captain Hughes may be in the same predicament as I, though with the additional obstacle of not visiting the estate in some time. Take care and drink as much Twinings as you can before you depart for Habishire. Love always and truly, Aggie. I've just had a thought. I think the word extravagant. I've also realised that maybe Federuzzi Tozzi isn't a place or a street, it's a person. I think. Oh, I wonder if Brother Nicholas maybe, how can I put it delicately, might be seeing a gentleman and maybe getting married. That's what I've just put together in my head. Technically, I feel like I have to respond to that letter, right? That's three letters. So I might just do a quick coda to this letter. The return address is in Florence, so I might as well just try that, just in case. Eadly Hall, Millcote, Habishire, December 5th, 1832. Nicholas, if you read this letter, please come home. Our father, Thomas Lockley, passed away a few weeks ago, and I am now in charge of his estate in the interim. If you do not wish to return, then I understand. Know that I and Aunt Gertrude, as the executor of father's will be taking actions to finalise all of the articles and estate belonging to the Lockley name and dividing them up at his request. Such actions will affect us all, no doubt. I wish for you to come and have a say in the matter where you can. I would want us to do it together as siblings rather than just myself. Then you can return to your life in Florence and not worry about me or the estate. Whilst the world may be cruel to the fairer sex, it is one I must brave regardless. Love, Aggie. I don't know if I'm supposed to respond to that other letter. But I got the return address in Florence. I might as well, right? It feels like I should respond to it. I'm not entirely sure, but I've done it anyway just in case. But there you go, that's day 3 done. Day 4, December 9th, 1832. How strange it was to have Alder press a note from the staff into my hands this morning. He said he would be kindly obliged were I to read it. How quickly he departed once I'd taken it. Ooh. And then the old text reads, we have 2 letters sitting upon the desk. The first letter has not been posted. It has been folded in half and the outside reads, Madam, for your kind attention. And the postmarks read TP, Longbard Street, and paid 8th. It is addressed to Agatha Lockley, Eadly Hall, Millcote, Habishire. The handwriting is new to you. I wonder if this is the new captain, I think. The first letter is written in black ink on a single brown cut sheet. The handwriting is slanted and tightly crammed in. Uh-oh. Feedback from the staff, I guess. Dear Madam, with Colonel Lockley no longer with us, bless his soul, myself and Mr. Alder would like to know whether you'd like to make any changes to the day-to-day running of the house. As you would recall, Colonel Lockley had some requirements around the closing of the curtains, the timing of the meals, and other matters that may no longer suit you. We've known you many years, madam, and we all wish you to be as comfortable as possible in these difficult times, so please don't hesitate to ask us. We also want to ask about the menu for the week. As you've requested, we have dispersed with formal dinners when there's no guests, since there's just yourself about. We did wonder what you might like instead. Mary's told us you've not asked for anything cooked these last few nights. Is there anything you'd find suitable? Sammy's into the village every day now with all the mail back and forth, so you can pick up anything you wish. Mrs. Preston does a great lamb roast. She's not made it because Colonel Lockley did not enjoy lamb, but perhaps you might try it? Also, we've heard there might be guests afoot. We remain, madam, your most obedient servants, E. Stewart and M. Alder. Oh, that's quite sweet. I'm not sure who E. Stewart is, and Mr. Alder is obviously the butler. The staff are worried about me. I mean, it makes sense. I'm the only one doing anything around here. I mean, in my head, I think I don't... ultimately just need a conversation about it. I think they're worried about approaching me informally, so I should tell them that they can we should have a meeting. I personally love lamb, so I'm absolutely yesing for that, but maybe I should ask them what they, would recommend and actually have their expertise on stuff. That's quite nice. And yes, we're going to have, I guess we're going to have the captain soon, presumably that's what the next letter is. Okay, let's go about writing this one then. Apologies for the informal nature of this missive, but I wanted to write to you both and say thank you for your kindness and checking in on me. I had quite forgot myself, busying myself with all the father's affairs and paperwork and correspondence that had yet to have a house meeting with all staff about how we are to proceed going forward as a united Eadly Hall. Let us talk after supper tonight about the day-to-day running of the house. I must admit I have been so used to how my father had it that I had not thought that a new routine may be in order, which will suit the new lives we find ourselves in. I would appreciate your guidance and honesty in this. I would rather have a household full of life and joyful peace than the sad solitude we find ourselves in. At the house meeting, we will also speak about my brother, Nicholas, and his part he may play in our future. I wish to be transparent with all of you about what I know so far so that there is no misunderstanding or confusion. I wish us all to work together so that Eadly Hall can start to thrive again. As to dinner, again I will take you and the rest of the staff's recommendations. I will be delighted to try Mrs. Peterson's roast lamb and any of her other favourite recipes she was not able to try whilst my father was alive. I think it's time to bring a little bit of adventure and happiness back to the dining table for all of us. And indeed, we will be having guests join us in a few days, maybe a week or two. Captain Hughes will be passing through as he will be returning to the Hughes estate to take over his late father's affairs. I can inquire about his tastes with regards to dietary requirements or suggestions for dinner recipes. I believe he is also going through the motions, just as I have been these last few days, so we should make sure we are as welcoming as we can be at Eadly Hall, a place he was fond of in his youth. He may also be in need of advice on how to run his own estate, as he's been away from Havisham since he was 12, so might be a little out of touch with current goings-on. We're also expecting Miss Gertrude Allington, my aunt, to arrive back from London once my father's paperwork and estate there is all sorted. She will be a more permanent guest, no doubt, and will be on hand to guide me in Eadly Hall matters going forward. With many thanks, Miss A. Lockley. Turned out to be a much longer letter than I anticipated, but I think it's important. You know, these people are looking after me and taking care of me, and I'm sort of giving them directives, so I've got to be honest with them. So, yeah, I think hopefully that will go. Although I'm really gutted I don't know who E. Stewart is. I should know, I don't. And the second letter, it's written in black ink on a large green page. The handwriting is large and looping, flowing with a certain dynamic, energetic quality to it. Oh, ho, ho. London, December 8th, 1832. Dear Miss Lockley, your aunt told me I might call on you when I return to Havisham next week. It'll be a delight to restore our acquaintance after so many years. Your aunt said you are short on good company, and in truth, I am the same, especially with Christmas approaching. This is my first return to Havisham since my guardian's death in India. Colonel Hughes, a friend of your father's, do you remember him? Now I've reached the age of majority, I have inherited Cornwall House. It is currently being opened on my account. I intend to live in it, at least for a while until I'm called back into service. It will be strange to be back there without him, and after all these years. If visiting you alone was not too much of an imposition, I must admit that I had asked your aunt if I might see your father's collection of military figures. Oh. She kindly obliged. Oh, okay. I found seeing them quite moving in a way. Oh, of course, there was one that was Colonel Hughes, wasn't there? Oh, I got rid of them. Did you know he painted his own regiment, the 18th Royal Hussars? I knew them instantly when I saw them. The Royal Hussars are easily recognisable for their uniforms. Oh, gosh. Dark blue and yellow braiding. He had painted my father, too. Oh, if you do not have other plans for it, perhaps I might give that particular figurine a home in Cornwall House? Shit. Ah, fuck, I got rid of it. I'm not sure if he told you, but your father came to see me after my guardian passed away. This was in London 3 years ago, shortly before I left for Gibraltar. He gave his condolences, but also left me his advice of sorts. He said that military men grow up callous of death, but to do so was to doom one's judgment. The way to be a good officer was to feel each death acutely, yet act on none individually. That, he said, was how to excel. And yet, he added, it leaves a bitter taste in your mouth to do so, a sort of taste that lingers with you long after retirement. Strange advice, I think. Fortunately, none of the men under my command have suffered further than a broken leg. Oh, okay. But enough of those passed onwards for now. You must tell me something of yourself, though no doubt I will find out much more when I visit. I remember our little games and stories with much fondness. I still write poetry, I must admit, although it is quite as awful as it was back then. A lot of our adventures blur as childhood memories do, but I have a strange one that comes back to me. I insisted we dress as hideous ghosts to try and get Nicholas to atone for a crime of having painted your horse a horrible red colour. He was not scared, but we did terrify Mrs. Stewart. Ah. Is she still with you? I suppose I will also have to think further about a household staff myself. At any rate, I will see you shortly. I will bring a marvellous ginger cake I have become far too fond of in London. We shall talk more then. Yours sincerely, Captain Roger Hughes. Oh, I can't believe I got rid of the figurines. They didn't seem important. Fuck, I sent the medals back. Fuck. Oh, I feel like an idiot now. But what was I going to do with the figurines? Nothing. I feel really guilty now. Shit. Okay, well, that's okay. Sorry, I'm kicking myself a little bit, because, I was like, well, one of these is important. And clearly, it wasn't the ring, it wasn't the locket, it was this bloody figurine. I mean, I've got some medals. There's some medals in his room, so maybe I can show them at least. We could talk about my father like that, but shoot, completely didn't think. Well, I didn't know him then, so oh well, it's fine. Eadly Hall, Millcote, Hampshire, December 9th, 1832. Dear Captain Hughes, the delight is returned twice more upon receiving your letter. Reading your words has given a little light to my morning amongst the dull paperwork and expenses of Eadly Hall I must do battle with. Alas, I must first come clean with you. I had my father's collection of military figures donated to charity, as they were part of his London items which I had to sort. Had I known you would be interested in them, I would have kept the one of Colonel Hughes to pass on. My aunt even mentioned meeting you in the same letter as the items were described. I blame too many late nights for blurring my judgment. I still have my father's collection of medals here at Eadly should you wish to see them. I had planned to return them to his regiment, as his colleague Major General Weatherton had been in touch to offer his condolences. My father was a complex figure. Such advice, I feel, may be more for his younger self than for you. He cared deeply for his men. The battle morales really hit him hard. The Royal Hussars were his true family, outside of his own flesh and blood, and I think the severing of such bonds cut him deep long after he was away from the war. I wish I could have done more to help him, or at least try to understand him. His relationship with Nicholas and I was never quite one of love, more of tolerance. I look forward to catching up and recalling our youth together, reliving such memories which haunt our lives now. I still have that horse somewhere in a box, I think. Miss Stewart is indeed still with us, as is Mr. Alder and a lot of our household staff. If it is not too bold of me to say, you are more than welcome to discuss them how best to run a household when you are visiting. I am actually planning to do the very same this evening, as I feel it is time to have some changes to Eadly, but need their guidance and love to do so. I look forward to the famed ginger cake. Perhaps bring some Twinings tea with you? I do long to try their Lady Grey loose leaf tea. Yours sincerely, Miss Agatha Lockley. There we go. I always have to slip in a Twinings reference, I know, but yeah, I do feel bad I got rid of his dad's figurine, but anyway, you should have said, the aunt should have said something then and there about oh well, I would have given yes, obviously give it to him. How delightful. It feels like a bit of a turning point. We've got the captain coming over, the household staff are willing to hear me and talk to me. So what's going to happen tomorrow? There must be a twist somewhere. We're about, was it 11 days, I think? Is this whole thing? I think there's something missing. There's something that's where's the drop? Where's the reveal? We'll see. Probably it's going to happen tomorrow on day 5, but for now, we're done. Day 5, December 12th, 1832. How odd that a letter should be hand-delivered by footman all the way from London. It has been scented with perfume. Jasmine? Oh. Alder told me the footman was most reluctant to hand it over to anyone but my father. Oh my God. Of course, the impossibility of that eventually convinced him to do otherwise. He waits downstairs now for my reply. So we have 2 letters sitting upon the desk. The first letter has not been posted. It has been folded into quarters, and the outside reads, Thomas Lockley, in violet ink. The paper is embossed with a floral pattern. Wow, very familiar, this person. Whew. And then we have the second letter, which postmark reads Habisher, DE8, 1832. And the change mark is 4. Now, I think that's Captain Hughes that's sending me a letter. It is addressed to Agatha Lockley, Eadly Hall, Millcote, Habisher. Hoo 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 hoo. God, this is getting pretty tense, isn't it? Like pretty, I say tense. It's getting pretty, like, not emotional. What's the word? Like, ooh, dramatic. So the first letter is written on embossed floral stationery in violet ink. Pictures of flowers adorn the paper, and the handwriting is dainty and warm. My darling Thomas, I won't argue with you any more about it. With your state being what it is, can you really expect me to stay here in London whilst only the Lord knows what's happening to you in Millcote? What if things worsen? What if something were to happen to you whilst I am not there? I could not bear such a thing. No, I am packing, and I will be there within a week. Oh, shit. I have a distant cousin I can claim to be visiting. I'm sure scrutiny in the countryside cannot be as dreadful as you imagined. At any rate, even if we must pretend to be distant acquaintances, I should have the good fortune of looking into your eyes once more. Oh, God. Stop worrying about what will happen if I come, and start to think about the good you will experience from my being there. Surely I shall be the best balm for body and soul one could hope for, quite above what any doctor has recommended you. And heavens, don't worry about your daughter finding out. I'm sure she has better things to do with her time than spy on her father. Shouldn't she be looking for a match by now? Perhaps you ought to send her to London for the rest of the season. Then we should be undisturbed. I've sent up Matthias, should you wish to send me word back about anything before I depart. Don't try and change my mind, you won't succeed. I love you, darling. I shall be with you before long. And there's no, oh shoot, there's no signature. Well. Now, let me go and look at that locket that I got sent. I think, yes, the locket I have is silver, half a palm in length, attached to a chain. Inside is a picture of a woman in her 40s, brown hair, eyes staring straight at the viewer, painted. Yeah, that's her. And then the necklace. Oh, there's no name on the necklace. Fuck. Okay. I just don't know what I would write, to be honest. Obviously, I need to inform this person of my father's passing. Do I invite her to Eadly Hall anyway? I think I should, or at least I should send the locket and the necklace to her. Maybe I could send her the bill for the locket. Okay. Oh dear. That's how awkward. My father was having a secret liaison, as it were, and didn't tell anyone. And considering that he was very aggressive towards my brother, Nicholas, through context clues, I think is getting married, or has got married, or maybe is seeing someone that father doesn't approve of. So, yeah. Whew. To whom it may concern, my father, Thomas Lockley, passed away after a short illness a few weeks ago at the end of November. I am sure such an announcement of his passing will be a shock to you, just as the news of my late father was seeing someone in secret is a shock to me. I had a feeling he was, due to some of his personal effects which were sent from his London estate, items which I will happily part with and reunite with their owner. My name is Agatha Lockley, Thomas's daughter, who is currently in charge of sorting his late estate and affairs. Rest assured, I do not care for what your relationship was with my late father, only saddened he did not wish to share such news with me or my brother. I wish to formally extend an invitation for you to come and stay at Eadly Hall, so that we can be honest and open with how to proceed from here. Naturally, my father will have wished for everyone he shared his life with to be happy and well cared for, and I intend to do the same, even with current strangers to me. That said, if you feel uncomfortable and do not wish to come, I understand. I am sorry for our loss together. Yours sincerely, Miss A. Lockley. Oh, letter 2 isn't from the captain after all. It says, letter 2 is written neatly in blue ink by a practiced, elegant hand. A picture of a bird adorns the letterhead. It says Haberdasher, December 8th, 1832. So about 5 days ago. Dear Sir and Madam, we write with great condolences upon the passing of your father, who was one of the biggest supporters of the Haberdasher Bird Watching Society. We thank your family for his generous bequeathment of £100. Cool, that's a lot of money. As an expression of thanks for his significant contribution to the association in life and beyond it, we wish to invite you to be the guests of honour at the annual holiday season gala of the association on the 18th of December. It will be our pleasure to have you attend, and I look forward to hearing your response. Yours faithfully, Sarah Williams. Oh, as 10 days from now? Oh, well, yeah, I'll go. Oh, I got rid of some of the birds he had, but I have one still, so I could take that with me. Yes, of course. Oh, why didn't my father say anything? So stupid. Why didn't he put that in his bloody will? Was it a blue throat? Okay, I can deal with that. Dear Miss Williams, thank you for your kind letter. I am glad such a payment will do your cause a world of good. My father loved birds and even made several wood statues and models of them. Sadly, I had most of them given away due to their size, and I did not see a purpose for them here in Habersham. But I did keep one of a blue throat. It's curved wood, 3 inches in height, and painted in exacting detail. I would happily pass this on to your association if this is something you would have. A more physical memento of my father's contribution to your work. I will gladly accept your invitation to the gala on the 18th. My brother is sadly unavailable, but I will be taking a +1 with the newly returned Captain Hughes, so that he can be reintroduced to our little Haberdasher society after being away for so long. Yours sincerely, Miss A. Lockley. Oh, and there's an invitation included in it. It is addressed to me and Nicholas. I just assumed that was the case. And it's just got details such as attend the Habersham Birdwatching Association Ball at Captain Knowles Hall on Tuesday the 18th of December at 5 o'clock. And then we've got some managers here as well. S. Williams, so that'll be Sarah Williams, Z. Laval, and H. Warren. Yeah, well, okay. I mean, that's good. I'm happy to go to a ball. Might as well. Got a week to get sorted, or over a week to get sorted, because it's the 8th. When's this? So, yes. Good.
The What Am I Rolling podcast was created, recorded, and edited by me, Fiona Howat. This episode's player was me, Fiona. This episode's RPG was My Late Father's Correspondence, a read and reply game by Hayley Gordon and published by Storybrewers Roleplaying. You can find out more information about My Late Father's Correspondence and grab your own copy on the Storybrewers Roleplaying website. That's storybrewersroleplaying.com. The theme music was 8-Bit March by Twin Musicon of twinmusicon.org, licensed under a Creative Commons 4.0 license. If you want to find out more about the podcast, check out the website. That's www.wairpodcast.com. Fancy getting in touch? Email the podcast at whatamirollingpodcast@gmail.com. Finally, follow the podcast on social media. You can find us at WAIR_podcast for latest news on upcoming episodes. All the relevant links are in this episode's show notes, including a link to our Discord. And remember, adventurers need not apply.